Hi, this is Becky with A Better Way to Homeschool. This is take 2. I keep having technical difficulties. Today I am trying to answer some questions from a new and frustrated homeschooler, and she actually is very similar to a lot of you out there, so I thought that this information would be best out on YouTube because she's not alone. This gal has a couple of kids. One is 6, one is 7, one's going into 1st grade, one's going into 3rd grade, and she lives in Kansas, and she is totally confused. She doesn't know what to do. And so this is a video response to her question, and I hope it helps. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel before you leave so you don't miss any updates. And if you have any encouragement or ideas or questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. So my advice, here you're finding yourself new to homeschooling, you're frustrated, you're confused, what do? Well, the first thing I'd encourage you to do is that if you're married, to sit down with your spouse over a cup of tea or cup of coffee while the kids are playing in the backyard or watching a show, and come up with your fundamental goals for why it is you homeschool. What are the fundamental things that you want to teach your children? And that has nothing to do with curriculum. And curriculum is just a fancy word for the materials that you use when you're teaching your children. And what does that mean? In my home, my husband and I have come up with 4 primary goals, and they're unique to our family, and they may or may not work for you, but I'd like to share them with you so that you have an idea of what I mean when I say, before you begin, set your goals. So we have 4 fundamental goals. Our first one as Christians is to teach our children to love and to serve the Lord. And everything we do every day has that focus in mind. Our second goal is that to teach our children their math facts. And by that I mean that they need to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and to know their facts inside and out. It honestly doesn't matter how long that takes to accomplish that goal. It's a necessary goal. And the higher maths, for those that are going to go through and do things like engineering, really need that foundation. So number 2 for our kids is to teach them their math facts. Number 3 is that our children are exposed and love excellent literature. And what I mean by that is that we handpick books that we think will excite their desire to learn, and then we read aloud to them. We have daily reading time. We talk about books. We go to the library. And so for us, it's extremely important that our kids are well read. A lot of writing success comes from being exposed to excellent literature. So take the time, well, in our family, we take the time to make sure that our kids are reading, and reading a lot, and reading great literature. And a couple of resources would be talking to your local librarian, going to websites like sonlight.com, sonlight.com. That's a curriculum provider, but they have lists of excellent literature. And there's also a book you can get from your library or from Amazon that is called Honey for a Child's Heart. And that is a book with a collection of stories that are applicable for any age group, even up to, they have a book for teens as well. So our third goal, again, is to expose our kids to excellent literature. Our fourth goal is a combined goal, and that is that our kids become excellent communicators both on paper and out loud, that they can speak in public, that they don't panic if they have to give a speech or a presentation, that they can deliver a speech, and that they can be articulate on paper. So they can write essays, book reports, research papers, etc. by the time they graduate from high school. So for each child, that means they're going to go at their own pace, and they're going to learn at their own speed, and we're not going to freak out if at age 6, 7, or 9 that they don't know how to write a 5-paragraph essay. By the time they graduate from high school, they will, and we'll just be working with them until they master that. So those are our personal goals for our family, and they may fit for your family and they may not. But the first thing you should do is sit down and establish 3 to 5 goals that are unique to your family. From there, you can choose what to teach your child, but that at least gives you a target, something to shoot for. Once you have your goals, I would encourage you to look into your homeschool requirements for your state. The reader that I am responding to today actually lives in Kansas, and when I looked up your state for you, I found a few things out for you. That your kids don't need to start school until they're 7 legally, and that's true in my state as well. That you need to plan and schedule 186 days of instruction throughout the year, which is easy, and that also you need to contact your state board of education, and you need to pick a name and register your homeschool as a private school. And then from there, you're in charge and you can teach your kids whatever it is that you would want to teach them. I didn't see specific subject requirements for Kansas, but your state board of education would be able to help you with that. So after you register your school, the third thing I'd suggest that you do is you look into an organization called the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. And as an independent homeschooler, for a very reasonable cost, they offer you legal advice and legal counsel if you ever bump into any legal issues in homeschooling. And they are a wealth of homeschool resources. And you can find them at hslda.org. Again, that's hslda.org. So after you do those things, you've set your goals, you've looked into your requirements, you've considered joining the Legal Defense Association. Now you can think about, well, what should you teach your kids? And an example I wanted to share how I teach our children here at home, and that's my husband and I pick a primary focus. I call it a golden thread, and I tend to use history as a golden thread. So, for instance, my children are learning about ancient civilizations right now. And we have 5 kids. Our oldest is in college, and our next oldest is in high school. And then we call our last 3 the 3 Musketeers. And I'm teaching the Musketeers ancient civilizations. So we're learning about Egypt and Greece, Rome, etc. And what I do is I have a math curriculum that I teach them. And really, there are hundreds of math curriculums out there, and you really just need to find one that works for your kids. And we just go lesson by lesson through math. And then with our golden thread, with history, we do everything else wrapped around whatever our focus is in history. So for now, we're learning ancient civ, like I said. So our books that we're reading, the reports that we're doing, the art projects that we're doing, even science and some extension things for math, all of those things focus on ancient civilizations. And as we go through, we're able to incorporate all of our goals. We're able to, in this case, this works beautifully to teach them about the Lord, because obviously ancient civilizations includes all of those cultures like the Egyptians and the Babylonians and Assyrians. But then we're also able to do our vocabulary development and our literature from great novels and books that have to do with ancient civilization. We're able to learn about science and the animals of the regions, or the amazing brilliance of the ancient peoples. We're also able to do our writing and art. Do you get the idea? So once you know what your goals are, you can look at your family, you can look at your kids, and you can say, okay, what are we going to be focusing on as a family? Your kids might have drastic areas of interest. I have one son that really is a future farmer. So anything that I can do with farming with him, he's all in. He'll write, he'll research, he'll do math, he'll do figures, he'll do anything as long as it has to do with farming. So consider looking for what I would call a golden thread for your kids, something that you can focus on together. Go to the library, pick areas of focus within that. And what I mean by that is, say you were going to be studying the Native American culture. And so when you're looking at Native Americans, maybe you would look at where the different Native American tribes lived, what their climate was, what kind of houses they lived in, what kind of food did they eat, and what what kind of gods did they worship? And then you could see over time that the places that the natives lived greatly determined how they worshipped their gods, what they ate, etc. So look for a golden thread. Look for 4 or 5 things that, like major topics that you can explore under those things, and then just get busy learning together. And as you're learning, look for different ways for your kids to demonstrate that they're learning. So maybe they can draw pictures and then you write captions underneath. Maybe there's art activities that you can do. There's videos that you can watch. YouTube is wonderful. We spend a lot of time on YouTube. You can learn almost anything out on YouTube. See if there's math extensions or science extensions that you can do. I don't want to talk forever on this because I really could, because I love homeschooling my kids. And I know that if you stick and stay with your kids that you'll love it too. But I'm not going to lie, it's hard and it's frustrating and it's confusing all along the way, because maybe like me, you had no one to walk that trail with when you first got started. So just know that you're not alone. If you have questions, go ahead and put them down in the comments underneath this video. Take the time to make your goals. Figure out what your state requires for you to be teaching. Then go to the library and just spend some time figuring out what is it that we want to learn. And then when you pick that subject, teach math, English, history, and science all wrapped around that subject. You'll be amazed once you understand that concept. You could really study one thing for the rest of your life, but just get excited and learn in 2 or 4 week chunks with your kids, or like me, spend half a year studying one area in history because it's fascinating. Anyway, I hope this helps. I hope you have a wonderful time with your kids, and I'm looking forward to hearing either words of encouragement or questions below in the comment. Have a wonderful day.